Hello, I'm Dr. Lara Honos-Webb. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and Hyperactivity member. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist for 20 years. I got my PhD in clinical psychology at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, where I developed a strength-based approach to treating clients consistent with positive psychology. Then after that, I moved to San Francisco, where I completed a 2-year postdoctoral research fellowship in addiction studies at the University of California, San Francisco. After that, I was an assistant professor at Santa Clara University. I published 26 scholarly articles. After publishing my book, The Gift of ADHD, I left my teaching position to start my private practice specializing in ADHD, executive functioning, and addictions. The 5 gifts of ADHD. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is defined by inattention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. The diagnosis can lead to frequent negative feedback and a negative self-image. One way to improve self-confidence is to find gifts and define your self-image by your strengths. We will talk about the 5 gifts of ADHD: creativity, empathy, emotional sensitivity, exuberance, and being nature smart. Let's start with the first gift, creativity. Research has shown that adults with ADHD score higher on tests of divergent thinking than adults without ADHD. Divergent thinking is a form of creativity that allows a person to generate many possible ideas about a specific topic. Creativity may require unfocus. As outlined by the stages of creativity, which include the stage of incubation, which means turning your attention away from a problem you are trying to solve. It is this state of unfocus that moment of inspiration often occurs with a breakthrough insight. Second, empathy for other people is also a gift of ADHD. As many students with ADHD report that during class they are distracted by paying attention to other students and the teacher and tuning into them, wondering if they are stressed or they feeling concerned if they look anxious or depressed. One psychologist, Theodore Reich, wrote in a book called Listening with the Third Ear that empathy requires free-floating attention, which sounds a lot like the state of unfocus. The third gift of ADHD is emotional sensitivity. It means that you have intense emotions that may be compared to having reactions that are like big waves rather than small ripples. One of the gifts can be for people who are artists or writers whose work requires more intense emotional sensitivity. Emotions are communications to ourselves, about ourselves, from ourselves, and therefore can help us with self-insight. Intense emotions can also help us see parts of the world that need to be fixed, as this intensity can make people more sensitive to life and therefore share concern and be motivated to make changes. Their passion can become a source of motivation for unleashing focused attention and action. Hyperactivity is the fourth gift. It can also be called exuberance. Having a lot of energy can be positive in many settings, but in a highly structured setting like school can be disruptive to other people. Many athletes were diagnosed with ADHD as a child, including Michael Phelps and gymnast Simone Biles. Research has suggested that entrepreneurs with ADHD may have success in part because of their willingness to take so much action in the face of uncertainty. The fifth gift of ADHD is being nature smart. The ADHD child in the classroom staring out the window at the trees may be the poster child for being nature smart. Research shows that time in nature improves attention, perhaps through the mechanism of attention restoration. Time in nature invites the state of unfocus, and it may be that this attunement to nature leads to support for environmental protection or careers in science or in national parks. The most important reason for finding gifts is that motivation is improved by the belief that one can be successful. Negative moods can disrupt attention, so a positive self-confidence can protect focus and motivation. There are many gifts people with ADHD have, and focusing on the gifts can improve attention and motivation.